Hey guys, so yesterday I went through the Zoom meeting and it was good. And I want to talk about something from that, and that is I was not living in the moment until I was in the middle of it, and I was still like not wanting to talk. I really hadn't talked, and there was a point where they were all talking about uh, Dean's dog, and he has a cute little dog, but he was talking about this little dog he had. And everybody's like, "Oh, I want to see," and they were being people. I'm not being rude. But it was kind of like, I don't really get worked up about people's titles. I just don't. I never. I know why. I have a couple ideas. I have a couple understandings of why. Number one, I grew up very egalitarian. We were like Puritans on my mom's side and my dad's side. They were like Scots Irish, and didn't really give a fuck what your title was. You didn't have a title. It didn't matter. You were no more important than anybody else. Both sides kind of felt that way. I also come from a very, very, very well-connected family as far as back in time. And so, you know, when you hobnob with kings and queens because they're your cousins and whatnot, and then sometimes you were the monarchy, you tend not to get really worked up when somebody says they're famous. And you're like, and? And I have a little bit of my own celebrity nature, so I'm like, it's all good. These guys were going a little bit overboard, but at one point we were talking about something, and where I switched from being, I don't want to be here, to I'm okay, was when I had said something, and Dean said, "You're on mute." And I took myself off mute, and I said, "Yeah, I like dogs too." That's what we're talking about. And I have a little dog. He's like this big, and he's like a Skye Terrier Chihuahua mix. And Dean was gracious and very nice. And then we were talking about something else a little while later. I want to make sure I don't go too far over on this. And he said something about how to manage your boundaries. And I took what he said, I made it bigger. I used language. He was using very good language. I was using quality engineering language for, I refer to it as quality engineering language for operators, which means I take big words and fancy ideas and I turn them into something that you could walk up to an operator on the floor and say, "Can you do this?" And they'd look at it and go, "Yes, I can." Or, I'm fascinated with my ability to sculpt words in such a way that an engineer could see it and go, "I understand what you're saying." And an operator could look at it and go, "I know what you're saying." And it's very rare, by the way. And so I just took what he said and quality engineered it, or Albertized it, or bastardized it with Albert in there somehow. And he just sat there when I was done. He says, "I have never heard that articulated quite that well. But yes, that's exactly what I mean." And I just sat there like, cool. I was in the moment. I wasn't thinking ahead. I wasn't thinking outside of what I was doing right then and there. For an ADHD brain, getting everything else to shut off and shut the fuck up so I can focus is very rough. But when I get there, it's kind of like all the synapses are working for one common goal. And I love that because I need it all to work that way. The same thing is true in everything I do. So if I'm at the bar and I say, "Okay, shut them down," and start shutting off all the outside thoughts and said, "I'm going to focus on what's in front of me and who's talking to me." And that's it. Period. End of story. And that works out so well. I get such a different group of people talking to me because the ones that I used to latch onto, I no longer do. And they tend to walk away. And the ones that like get really intrigued by the fact that I am soaking up everything you're saying and I'm talking to you about what you're saying, and you know that I understand you very, very well. I understand you. I love you guys.